going on, Jerome's? Beautiful Saturday. Birds are chirping and stuff. It is time for another Vikings news dump. Today, Vikings will be taking on the Cleveland Browns. Mistake by the lake. Factory of sadness. Browns fans get so mad. Anyways, but Vikings second preseason game of 3, taking on the AFC North, team. There you go. Now, of course, Darrisaw Myles Garrett will not be playing. Most of the starters on both squads won't be out there. So be a battle of the 2s versus the 2s, 3s versus 3s, etc. Yeah. So should be good to go. But also, it was a great couple of days of practice. Darrisaw Myles Garrett. Titanic battle, man. You got a surefire Hall of Famer, Myles Garrett. You got a future Hall of Famer in Christian Darrisaw. It's great to see, man. Great to see. But, 3:25 p.m. Central Time, the only time zone that matters. Vikings will be getting it on. In terms of coverage, we will be doing the live stream. That's right. Watching the game, talking junk, doing some Q's and some A's. Also, the August preseason fundraiser for Every Meal Twin Cities. They do a great job filling in some food insecurity gaps for the youth here in the Twin Cities. Awesome work that they do. We crushed, not we, you guys crushed our draft goals for fundraising. This for preseason 1509, Diamond Dallas Turner. JJ McCarthy. All Venmos, Cash App, Super Chats will be donated to Every Meal Twin Cities. Also, you can donate directly in the link in the description below. Shoot us an email, and we'll count you in the goal funders. We're currently at about $650 for the Loch Ness Monster. Yeah, so with 2 games left, should be ready to rock and roll for August. You guys are the best. So diving on into this thing. So joint practices went down. Josh Metellus. I love Josh Metellus, man. I think that even with his role last year, first year as a full-time starter, and of course all over the place for the Flores defense, I think that his role is going to grow even more, right? So all these guys are in this very complicated Flores scheme, but another year older, another year wiser, and also Flores calibrating some things and putting guys in situations where they can just play. Don't think, just do, and get after things. And I think that guys like Metellus, guys like Ivan Pace Jr., they're going to thrive this year. They're going to do really, really damn good. Also doing good. So we talked about how there's a lot of connections between the Vikings and the Browns. You got like Diesel Dalvin Tomlinson, Jordan Hicks and the Browns, etc. I mean, there's a lot of connections between the two franchises. But also, of course, Mike Pettine, the Vikings assistant head coach / edge rusher coach, was head coach of the Browns for a hot second back in the day. Now, I've always been a fan of Pettine, and this actually goes back to, I think it was 1999. So ESPN, before the 30 for 30 era, did a documentary on North Penn High School and CB West. So CB West powerhouse in Pennsylvania high school. And Pettine's dad, Pettine Sr., was a Pennsylvania high school football legend. Absolutely. And Pettine played at Virginia. He was a safety, then became a high school teacher. He actually coached North Penn. That was the premise of the documentary. It's North Penn versus CB West. And Pettine didn't get the best of old man, but it's got to be kind of cool that your kid follows in your footsteps. And Pettine got into coaching in the NFL, basically just volunteering to cut film for the Ravens and just be a gopher. And that's where he linked up with Rex Ryan, and that's where he became defense coordinator of the Jets when Rex Ryan was there. Also a hot second with the Bills when Rex was there too. And we talked about this before. My favorite football book is by Nicky Dawidoff from blah, blah, blah. It's Collision Low Crossers. Spent a year embedded with the 2010 Jets. It's really entertaining. Now, focused mainly on the defense. That's why, Pettine was the main character. Former Vikings edge rusher coach Mike Smith was the main character. It was just really good. Like Dennis Thurman. It's fantastic, man. Mike Westhoff is the character. I love it, man. It was a really, really damn good book. Highly recommend it. And that's where we gained a lot of respect for Pettine. Like we got a lot of the background information. And this has got to be weird because it's one thing just to play a game, at the old stadium and blah blah blah. But being in the practice facility where you used to be the boss, it's weird, man. So hopefully you can do some good things, and hopefully like the edge rusher show up and show out for Pettine. Also, this was you could tell like this was like early and mid 2010s because just look at those shants on everyone. Look at the dude on the right, the shants. Also, Kyle Shanahan over there on the left, coaching up Johnny Manziel or trying to. It's awesome, man. Of course, Kevin O'Connell also has ties to Cleveland. That's where he got his first coaching job, a quarterback's coach under Mike Pettine for a year with the Browns. Also, I think the year that O'Connell was there, John DeFilippo was the OC. He's got Vikings connections all over the place, man. And, of course, Kwesi was assistant to the regional general manager for Andrew Berry for a couple of seasons, so those connections run deep. Send us home with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. We'll give you our finest Jaron Halls. That's it, man. Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks, so the Vikings, late afternoon on Friday, which the Vikings are just amazing at, so they signed Matt Corral, a former Ole Miss quarterback, former 2022 third-round pick by the Panthers, spent some time with the Patriots as well as the UFL Birmingham Stallions. Now, I like Corral in the draft process, 2022. It wasn't, well, to say 2022 wasn't a good quarterback class is an understatement. So you got Kenny Pickett, you got Desmond Ridder, already been benched and traded. Malik Willis, and Corral is in that mix too, where he's got a good arm, he's got a quick release, and also has got great mobility as well. Like there's something to work with there, and hopefully Matt Corral has been working on things, and I think that this could be a decent chance for him. Now, this is what people get twisted. Are we signing Matt Corral to be the starter? No, absolutely not. But focus on what the player can do versus what they can't do. Or so, why bother signing a Barbara roster? Is it a quarterback that could potentially push Jaron Hall as the Vikings quarterback 3? Because it's always good to have a developmental quarterback in that hopper, because it's obviously going to be Sam Darnold, and it's going to be Nick Mullens as a primary backup, but QB3 is pretty wide open. That's why we advocated maybe the Vikings check out the waiver wire once 53-man cuts come about and check out trying to find another young quarterback to develop the season, because why not? Because you never know. Even though J.J. McCarthy is obviously the future of the franchise, you never know, right? So I like what they're doing with Corral, but I'm sure Kwesi and company are going to keep their eyes open at the waiver wire as well. Also, part of that is J.J. McCarthy placed on season-ending injured reserve. Now, they place him on IR before 53-man cuts. It's done. Finito. Can't return. If it had been after 53-man cuts, after the roster was set, then he potentially could have returned after 4 weeks. Up to 8 players can return off of IR under the new rules. Now, I think it's a smart move. I mean, give JJ the full offseason or the full season and offseason to fully heal up. It didn't really make sense to try and rush him back towards the end of the season, because the timeline for recovery for a meniscus repair is 4 to 6 months, and 4 months on the short end would have been mid-December. So it doesn't make sense. But heal up number 9. No matter when you tore the meniscus, got it repaired, you're the future of the franchise, you're going to be good to go, man. Speaking of JJ, so his former head coach had some great words about his former pupil, football son, we'll call it that. Alex Insdorf, beat writer for the Chargers. Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh said he called Minnesota quarterback J.J. McCarthy after season-ending injury diagnosis. How'd he get the number? I guess Vikings PR is really good. Quote, nothing can keep him down. This is not going to be life-altering, bump in the road. And I agree. I think that, obviously it sucks, and even though, yes, and the grand plan was to redshirt him this season behind Sam Darnold, but now you're definitely redshirting him. It sucks, but also we're focused on 5, 10, 15 years from now. Like 15 years from now, if J.J. McCarthy is still the starting quarterback of the Vikings, hell, 5 years from now, if he's still the starting quarterback of the Vikings, that's a win. That's a win, dog. That's a loss. So knee will be good to go. If he had issues with it before, that'll get sutured up, and he'll come back and be better than ever. And plus, look really damn good against the Raiders, man. Let's not get that twisted. Also look really damn good in some of the practices as well. Plus, Mekhi Blackman, also coming back from a knee injury, torn ACL for Mekhi. So great picture of Kevin O'Connell just looking on longingly. J.J. McCarthy, a little smirk, is like, that's my future. That is our future franchise quarterback. That is my new football son. And Mekhi, bro, he loves that dude. It's true, man. It's true. And like the connection between quarterback and head coach, especially offensive-minded head coach, like that's can feed families. And I think that it will for many, 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 many moons. So a lot of people talked about, is it the new surface at U.S. Bank Stadium? Did that cause McCarthy's knee injury? Now, I actually think, we talked about yesterday, a little bit of a theory that McCarthy had some knee issues coming in. Maybe they're maybe just was enhanced by the new turf. Who knows? Maybe it's just bad luck, but whatever. And I went through. So just off the top of the head, I mean, just a couple of significant Vikings injuries over the past 15 years plus. Now, obviously, it's not every single one of them, but I want to see if there was a correlation between playing surface and what happened. So 2024 McCarthy meniscus, US Bank Stadium, the new monofilament turf. It had been the slit film turf since US Bank's inception 2016 until this off season. But going back to 2011, so Adrian tore his ACL at FedEx Field in Washington, what they call grass. ACL Arena is more like it. 2016, Teddy Bridgewater, his leg fell off at Winter Park outdoor practice fields. That was on grass. Also, so we didn't list Adrian's meniscus, which he got a full repair on. I did return later in that season. But that was at US Bank Stadium on the slit film turf. 2017, Bradford. Knee bone bruise is what they classify that, even though, I don't know, man. Like, Bradford always had bad knees. So just sort of is what it is. That was on the US Bank Stadium slit film turf. Dalvin's ACL was on US Bank Stadium's old turf. And then you look at like Hercules Mataafa was at 2018 OTAs, which was still at Winter Park before they moved to training camp to TCO in 2018. Tore his ACL on a kickoff. And then a couple of guys in 2018 torn ACLs. Aude Aruna, the pride of Tulane in preseason at US Bank Stadium. Mike Hughes, ACL in season at USB. And then fast forward into 2023. So, of course, Jefferson's hamstring. Like, you saw, like there was a rip in the turf where Jefferson had planted and then it popped his hamstring. So maybe that's one of the reasons why they got rid of it. Kurt obviously was outside at Lambeau, or what Wisconsinites consider grass. That was the torn Achilles. Hawkinson was at USB, except that was a little bit more like dirty Kirby Joseph as opposed to the turf. And Blackman and Griffin, I mean, people want to make a deal about the turf, but so the outdoor practice fields are natural grass. The TCO Stadium, which they had the night practice, that's the same monofilament turf as US Bank Stadium. So, Mackay and Griffin were both on grass. So, I mean, is there a correlation? I mean, not particularly. I mean, I think it's just a mix of bad luck. But I will say, like, so there's a reason why some of the premier soccer stars, football stars from around the world, they have it in their contracts that they only play on grass surfaces. They do not play on synthetic. Like, there's stars, there's full teams that have that contract. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Not saying, just saying. Also, I don't know the ins and outs of the economics and the business of artificial turf, but do you think that artificial turf companies just do NFL stadiums for free or even pay the teams to get their turf out there? Because then you can advertise, hey, we have the official turf of NFL team XYZ. Hey, high school. Hey, small college. Don't you want to do the same thing? And it's almost like a loss leader for marketing, just to do that. Like, is that why? Is that why it isn't natural grass? Because the maintenance crew for a turf stadium, obviously a lot less overhead than a natural grass stadium, and also you're paying out for natural grass, and you may be getting the turf for nada or reduced rate or even a little bit of a kickback. I don't know. Or maybe I just find ways to corrupt every single industry, and it's never really like that. Just trying to extort everything, man. But Clutch Points also pointed out, it's like, yeah, the Vikings over the last eight-ish years, not so great. So 2016, Teddy's leg fell off. 2017, Bradford knee bone bruise after he lit up the Saints. Like, that still sticks with me, man. Bradford, week 1 against the Saints, Monday Night Football, Adrian Peterson returns. Also, remember, Adrian had like a 9-yard carry on his first touch, and then he ended up like 18 yards. But that 9-yard carry is like all of his pent-up frustration. That was right there, man. And then Kurt finally plays some damn good football, and then he popped his Achilles last year. And of course, J.J. McCarthy, torn meniscus after he looked good. It's rough, man. It's rough. But like we said, no starters or very few starters. Ed Ingram should be playing today. Yeah, but Kevin Connell said that Sam Darnold will not be starting. It's going to be Nick Mullens and the Jaron Hall show. Maybe Matt Corral, because I fully understand that Matt Corral was signed yesterday, but also it worked for Josh Dobbs. So I don't know. Either way, just want to see that Mullens can check that box. Like, he can move the ball vertically. He's had the most time in this offense. And is he perfect? No. Is he a competent veteran backup with experience in the scheme? Yes. I think he's perfectly fine there. And also, this is an important game for Jaren Hall. Jaren Hall did not look good in the first preseason game, and he needs to prove that he can hang on to that quarterback 3 spot, or is it going to be Corral'd, or is it going to be quarterback TBD? Who knows, man? Who knows? But that's it. That's at Vikings News Dump for this beautiful Saturday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.